love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Hollywood Live. It was the slap that went around the world. It is still reverberating. But today on this show, we're going to get to the root of the problem. And that is, of course, Black women and their hair. My guest today is world-renowned hairstylist Elgin Charles. And it was Elgin's tweet that went around the world after this incident that reminded everybody. Hi, Elgin. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Tanya?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about what has become an important and an unbelievable issue here all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And I say the root of the problem because at the end of the day, all of this started over Black women and their hair.
Right.
So I got to ask you, before we get into this and how important this issue is, do you think that maybe Chris Rock should apologize to Jada?
Well, he probably didn't know that she was having alopecia problems, because I'm sure Chris would have been more sensitive if he knew, because that was a cheap shot at her, talking about G.I. Jane and all that stuff when she's suffering from alopecia. So, yeah, I guess he could apologize, but being that he got slapped in the face, it's kind of hard to do that. I know Will has apologized finally the day afterwards, but everybody was wrong in this situation.
Yeah,
that's the way
right.
I see it. You know?
Yeah, no, everybody was wrong. And as my mother said, 2 wrongs never make a right.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like I said, the real problem is Black women and their hair. We have been marginalized forever over our hair. We just passed, just this past week, there was legislation that had to be brought up passed in order for Black women to be able to wear their hair to work and in different work settings the way that they want to.
Like in braids and stuff.
Yeah, you actually you starred in Chris Rock's 2009 documentary, Good Hair.
Yeah.
And you were the one, like I said, who tweeted that tweet went around the world too, because people seem to have forgotten that Chris had done this documentary. I can't believe that he didn't know that she had alopecia. I mean, wasn't this in the documentary?
Well, in the documentary, he did touch bases on all the woes of the Black woman and what they go through. And like I made a comment on the show that sometimes they will get their hair done before they pay their rent. And I wasn't meaning that to be facetious or funny or anything like that, but I'm saying that because some women have alopecia. And with alopecia, they want to make sure they have the image that they need to go forward with. So they will spend whatever money they need to put hair on their head. Now, Jada, being a strong person, an open person she's been lately, she decided to come out and talk to everyone about her alopecia problem. And I think it's caused from some type of immune it's
an autoimmune disease, actually.
Yes. And so she decided to come out and talk about it. And she was being brave by coming out with her hair, shaved off. And that took a lot for her to do that. And she's also been, a pioneer for other women to come out and talk about this issue. Now, I know how sensitive it is because I do extensions on women. And when I have to take the hair down and they have to see themselves in the mirror, their natural state, I see how depressed they become. I see how their whole image of themselves just kind of shrink. They go in and they feel real bad about themselves. They try not to look in the mirror, they just get really, really sad. But by the time I finish and I put their hair back on their head and they start to look like themselves, they'll say, oh, there I am. And then all of a sudden they're back, they're ready to go out into the world and do what they have to do. So for her to come out and talk about it, is a good thing because, when you discuss stuff, it helps everybody else to understand that they're not alone. So I applaud her on that. Now, she probably could have, pulled Will's coattail and said, no, 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 don't do that. Or maybe he jumped up because at first we thought he was laughing about it. We thought it was like, okay, he's going along with it. It was a bad taste joke, but it wasn't a real bad joke. I can see where he got the joke from with G.I. Jane and the bald head and stuff like that. But she looked so good, you wouldn't think that she had any kind of disorder with her scalp,
Right.
So it was awful. But I do applaud Chris Rock because myself, my reflexes would have gotten away from me. Someone slapped me, next thing I know, I'm back on them but he didn't. Right. He held his composure. He made a joke about it and he kept going. And I thought that was great because that would have been awful for two Black men at the Oscars to be
okay. Okay. And since you brought that up, I've spoken with at least 5 or 6 Black men since that incident who said to me, no, you don't understand. An open hand slap up against a Black man is like spitting on him. There's a thing about, he said, you can punch a Black man and he won't be as upset as if you slap him with your open hand.
You can't Tell me a little bit about somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, immediately, your action is to go back at a person, it's like, oh, wait a minute, he touched me, he hit me. So you want to fight back. But thank God it probably stunned him, and he had to think about it. But it was a bold move on Will's behalf. And I hope the Academy will forgive him and understand that, like you said, he's a work in progress. He let his emotion, Will wrote his book. He's been very open about himself too. He had to get on the red table with Jada and talk about the entanglement and all that stuff. So there's probably a lot of things going on with the male ego inside of him that he's dealing with. And when you attack his family, he's a Libra, so he's all about family. He got up there and couldn't help himself, and his emotions got away from him, and he hit Chris, which is a terrible thing to do. Violence is not accepted in any kind of way.
No, it isn't. And I mean, unfortunately for him, that's what it came down to for Will. It came down to a moment of violence. And quite frankly, had it not been Will Smith and the Oscars, they would have been pulling him out of there for assault and battery. And we know this, especially in LA. I mean, that's just what happens because that's what it was. But all of that being said, let's go back to the whole hair issue, because Black women have, like I said, consistently been marginalized for years, for centuries, over our hair and what to do about it in certain situations. Alopecia is a disease that we cannot control. You can do, like you said, things but just the whole issue of Black hair. And in this case, his documentary, Good Hair. Okay. Yes. What does that even mean in the context of today's world? Does it mean anything anymore?
What, good hair? Like Becky with the good hair?
Becky with the good hair, baby. Becky with the
we as Black people all know what that means. But we have been teaching all the young girls to know that everybody's hair is healthy. It's good hair, It's just about taking care of it. And with good hair, there's limited things you can do with it. Same thing with kinky hair. But there's something you can do with all types of hair. So we should embrace our own hair. It's okay to use keratin treatments or, actually good hair really wiped out the relaxer market. It really did.
Yeah.
It just totally wiped the relaxer market out because of the demonstration he did about the Coke can inside sodium hydroxide and ate through it. But of course, that's like 100% sodium hydroxide. A relaxer doesn't have all that. But in our community, things like that, comedians can make a joke about something and all of a sudden it'll just take out the industry, like the Jerry curl. We made jokes about the Jerry curl. Now no one wants a Jerry curl. Now Good Hair did this thing about the relaxer. Nobody wants a relaxer. And all the girls went into natural hair. And they realized how beautiful and thick and gorgeous their hair really is when they stop doing that, especially when you're young. Your hair grows like a weed. So Good Hair was very, very informative. Of course, Chris Rock is a comedian, so he had a lot of jokes, and he went in there to make fun, I think, because he feel that, if he does humor, it'll sell better, it'll be a better movie, I guess. but also it shared some of the intimate feelings of women when it comes to their hair and how we spend so much money on our hair to look good. And it takes a lot to do that.
Yeah, no, it really does. I mean, I think Black women obviously spend more, and like you said, on our hair, and just the amount of time, forget about the money, just the amount of time that it takes for us to even get ready to go to work on some days. You know what I mean? Versus other people who don't have kinky hair.
And not to think about the weather.
Oh, okay.
Don't be in a humid area. And all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you thought you were looking good and you look like this, your hair has risen on you, you know? So it's a lot. Even myself, I had to get up this morning and do my hair because I couldn't be on TV, you know, without the body moving and stuff. So I had to get up at 6 to just do my hair to get ready for this show.
Okay, I know that's right. I did too, just so you know. I gotta let everybody know Elgin is my personal stylist, and he's the one who keeps me looking like this all the time.
And you look fabulous, darling. You look fabulous.
Thank you, darling. Thanks to you. All of that being said, though, what lessons should we learn about what happened? Because again, we have not resolved this at all. I mean, I don't know how it will be resolved with Will and with Chris. You know, by the way, Chris is on tour. He's on tour. He's in Boston today, and he is sold out. And he's sold out. The ticket prices I hear in Boston went from $41 up to $300 and some dollars for this show that he's doing tonight. Okay.
It might have resurrected his career, huh?
No, it did. It resurrected his career. And we know that, and now you know, and I know that people sometimes do things like that just for that reason. It makes you wonder. He was going on tour and, you know, he knew that he was going to be going on. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Yeah, we'll get rid of that.
It's okay.
He was going on tour and he knew this. And honestly, the ticket sales weren't that good. So.
Oh, they're good now because everybody want to hear what he has to say. And he's going to have to make a whole routine about that slap that went around the world. And I can't wait to see how he work it out, how he's able to finesse it and make it a funny show. I hope the brothers get back together because they're both superstars in my eyes. They have accomplished so much. And thank God Denzel gave him some information about, you know, when you're at your highest point, that's when the devil will attack you. So that was good advice. I think Will needs to calm down. He needs to probably speak to a therapist and try to open up because I think there's a lot going on more than just the slap. I think it's a lot of other things that are happening to have him to be so emotional on the Oscars to demonstrate such type of behavior. To me, that was just a lot for everybody to take. And that's why everybody's talking about it to this day. But
they'll be talking about it. It's interesting you'd say that because I was in the grocery store yesterday and people were talking about it. And this man comes up, I'm talking with the grocery store people. And of course, everybody listens to my conversations and everybody's. So this guy comes up to me that I didn't know. And he says, well, I think what's happening here is, no, this is exactly what he said. Well, Jada needs to stop sleeping around with other men because Will is still upset about it. And he is taking out his emotions about that on everybody. And I'm like, okay, well, that's an interesting perspective.
Oh, yeah, because he had to, you know, there's the male ego and he's a superstar. So people could take cheap shots at him for just trying to love his wife and be understanding out in the open. But then behind closed doors, people are talking about, I could never sit up there and let my woman talk openly about a relationship that she had or something like that in front of me. That would be something that I couldn't do. But he was strong enough to do that because he really loves Jada to try to help her. No one knows the intimacy of what Jada is going through, but Will. And Will's trying to love her and just be there for her and do whatever he can. But at the same time, he has feelings too. And it's working on him. So this slap that went around the world, as bad as it was, we're all looking at Will a little different.
Yeah.
Like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, don't mess with Will.
Okay. And that's just real. I know you got to go because it's that day, and I know folks are lining up to get into your salon. Probably knocking on the door now. What is he doing? But what advice would you give to women today? It's, my gosh, it's 2022. We're moving in. We're almost a quarter of a century into this century. I mean,
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to Black women about hair, how to just keep healthy and how to keep us happy, and looking good?
Well, there's so many options out there for the Black woman today. And if she's suffering from some kind of illness and all of a sudden she has hair loss, there's options out there for her that she can do that no one even know. I've had clients who have undergone chemo and hair fell out. So we had secretly put on a lace front so that no one could know that they're bald underneath. And then as time goes on, the hair grows back. When it gets long enough, then we'll go into a partial. And the next thing you know, they're back into their own hair. Also know that love yourself, love your hair, love your image, and just go out there and be the great woman that you are. And know that we love you and we will always stand there beside you. As a Black man, I am saying that. And know that you're beautiful inside and out. And we have many things to do for you in the hair salon to keep you looking beautiful. And even if you want to do a Jada Pickett and go bald,
yeah,
there's makeup artists, there's lashes, there's all kinds of things to make you look beautiful. Beautiful is in the eye of the beholder, and it also exudes from within.
From within. And she did look gorgeous, I got to
Didn't
tell you.
she?
I mean, that was the other thing. Jada looked
And
fabulous.
that's probably why he felt like he could joke on her, because she looked so pretty. He probably should have prefaced it, "Oh, Jada, you look so beautiful. I love the way you're wearing that hair. You know what?
Yeah.
G.I. Jane
See?
2 might be your next thing." And he could have prefaced that way. That way he's complimenting her as well as joking on her, as opposed to just letting her be the blunt of the joke. And also we know in 2016, he had a rampant about her not coming to the Oscars, and then he talked about Will and the Wild Wild West. So they probably had enough of him.
Yeah.
And that's why he got the slap.
I know they really did. I mean, that's the story. Yeah. So all of that being said, Elgin, thank you so much. Elgin Charles of Beverly Hills, one of the best hairstylists literally on the planet.
The
thank
emperor
you
of hair.
Thank you for all you do for all of us. We love you much, and thanks for joining. And everybody else out there, thank you for always tuning in and being such a great audience for us here at Hollywood Live. So we love you too. Everybody have a great day. Take care of somebody and yourself. Thank you.